The hum of the teleporter echoes in the small room as Beaumont, Torinobu, and Swampy rematerialize somewhere deep within the bowels of the derelict ship. God damn it! For a moment, I thought that might actually get us home, or at the very least, somewhere other than this damned ship.
Remain calm, Beaumont-san. For the time being, it appears we are at least safe. We must plan what we intend to do next. I believe our first priority should be to find the sickbay on this boat and find a way to help Sari Mason.
Right you are, Torinobu. And you know what? If this is a boat, then it surely has a captain. If we can find the captain, perhaps he can help us.
Yes, if he is still alive.
Well, let's bloody hope so. Otherwise, I have no idea what we're going to do. Come on, let's get moving. The trio move cautiously through the teleportation room and, led by Beaumont, head through the door into whatever lies beyond. They emerge into a cross-shaped junction and take a moment to consider which direction to go. Then Torinobu spots a flickering sign on the wall.
Look, Beaumont-san. It says Medical Bay. This way.
Good catch, Torinobu. Let's go. Beaumont follows the sign towards the medical bay, followed quickly by Torinobu and Swampy. They find themselves in another of the habitat rings of the spaceship. As Beaumont approaches, a view screen on the wall flickers with light and static. A garbled recording seems to be playing on a loop.
We are not dead, but not alone. We are not...
Did you hear that, Torinobu? They're not dead. This man might be the captain.
What is this you are looking at, Beaumont-san? It appears to be some kind of window. Is that a man inside?
I'm not sure, Torinobu, but I think it might be some kind of advanced telegraph system. One that lets you send messages with pictures and sound. It's quite marvellous. Beaumont and Torinobu feel relieved at this discovery and hope to find survivors aboard the ship. However, their lifted spirits are quickly dashed as a mechanical voice crackles through a speaker.
The auto turrets in this area have been sent to exterminate any intruders.
Red lights spin and flash along the ceiling, silently warning that the area ahead is under live fire. I'm not sure I like the sound of that. I think we best tread carefully, Torinobu.
I already have been, Beaumont-san.
Yes, me too. Right, let's get going. As they move through the habitat ring, there is a sudden mechanical whirring, and panels in the deck floor slide away. 3 large auto turrets rise up from below the deck and train themselves on the 3 intruders. Bugger, I suppose we didn't tread carefully enough, Beaumont says, drawing his holdout pistol and snapping off a shot at one of the turrets. The shot bounces harmlessly off the armor plating. Torinobu wastes no time, charging in with his katanas. The dark stone-enhanced blades slice clean through the metal of the auto turret, and with a sudden violent bang, the turret showering Torinobu with chunks of burning metal.
Ugh. We must be careful, these things explode.
Don't worry, Torinobu, I'll take care of them, Beaumont says, drawing his boarding rifle and opening fire. The burning hot lasers punch holes in the 2 turrets, but both continue to operate, and Beaumont realizes he should have concentrated his fire. Torinobu dashes towards one of the turrets and performs a vicious lunge. That skewers straight through the armor of the turret and detonates its magazine. But once again, the turret explodes, catching Torinobu in the blast. The remaining turret opens fire, unloading a hail of bullets at Beaumont, but the damaged machine lacks accuracy, and Beaumont is able to avoid any of its shots. Torinobu, knowing the danger of being close to one of these things, charges in regardless of his own safety, knowing it is far more dangerous to let the machine continue its fusillade of automatic fire.
Anzai!
He leaps high into the air and brings his sword down, cutting the machine in two. This time, Torinobu is ready for the attack. He manages to avoid most of the damage. Good lord, what were those things? I've never seen anything fire like that. They were like Gatling guns, but even worse.
Let us hope we do not see any more of them.
Too bloody right. Look, the medical bay is this way. Let's go, Beaumont says, and heads towards the door with a flickering light above it that reads Medical Bay. He waits by the door for Torinobu to catch up, and then passes through, followed quickly by the dog and the samurai. Inside the medical bay, broken shards of glass and medical sample canisters litter the floor. Whatever the crew had collected in these containers has been taken, or it escaped.
What were they doing here? It looks as if they were studying something.
I don't know, Torinobu, but these canisters, they look like they contained eggs of some sort, and judging from the gore and blood in this place, well, I dare say they might be the eggs of some vicious predator.
Let us hope we do not find out what such a creature was.
Suddenly, a video panel in the wall flickers, repeating a garbled message from what appears to be a medical officer. Can't be. What they are saying? Evil. Infected. More to it. Mustn't go on. Outside. Trust no one.
What do you think this lady is talking about to Beaumont-san?
I don't know, Torinobu, but if I had any guess, it'd be something to do with whatever's happened on this ship. It sounds like there might have been some infection breakout in this place.
Whatever it is, I hope it is not contagious through the air.
No, me too, Torinobu, or we're already done for. The thought of some alien infection chills both men to the bone, and they each find their conviction wavering. Come on, we'll worry about that later, Torinobu. Let's see if we can find anything that'll help Sally Mason. There's got to be some kind of medical device in here somewhere. The two men look around the room, and Beaumont finds a science log. He opens the folder and looks through the pages. Look here, Torinobu. This might be what we're looking for.
What is it, Beaumont-san?
This picture. It says, nano repair device. I'm not sure what all this means, but from what this log seems to say, it looks like it's some kind of machine that can cure people of the most grievous injuries. Let's see if we can find one. They continue searching the smashed medical bay, and after a short while, they find what they were looking for.
I think I have found it, Beaumont-san.
Good work, man. That's just the ticket we're looking for. Okay, hang on to it and keep it safe. All we have to do now is find a way home. If we can find the captain, then maybe he can help.
I do not think that will be happening, Beaumont-san.
What? Why not?
Because I found this device on that man.
Beaumont looks over to see the twisted corpse of a man in one of the space sailors' uniforms. The name tag identifies him as Captain Almanac. Well, that's just bloody wonderful, isn't it? What are we going to do now?
I have an idea, Beaumont-san. If this is a boat with a captain, then surely he keeps a captain's log.
You're right. There must be a log around here somewhere. If we can find it, it might give us some answers on how to get home. It's the best chance we've got for now. Let's keep looking. The two men prepare to leave. But suddenly, the body of Captain Almanac and two other dead men in the room let out horrifying groans and stumble to their feet, ambushing Beaumont and Torinobu. And then there is the mechanical whirring and a strange screaming noise from above. Beaumont looks up to see a floating orb with a series of cables hanging from it descend from above. Blinking red lights glow menacingly on the surface of the metallic sphere, and three mechanical arms extend out from it, sporting an array of pincing claws and slashing blades. "What in God's name is that thing?" he says, drawing his shotgun and opening fire. The dark stone buckshot smashes into the machine, but it continues to function, and lashes out at Beaumont with a whirring blade that cuts a deep gouge in his arm. Meanwhile, Torinobu unleashes a flurry of deadly slices on the walking corpse of Captain Albernac. The captain's body falls to the ground in several pieces. Swampy, trapped between the strange mechanical drone and one of the shambling undead, has no choice but to fight. And bites at the leg of the undead sailor. The undead crewman retaliates, raking its vicious claws down Swampy's side, leaving a bloody gouge. The dog howls in pain. Beaumont draws his revolver and aims at the whirring drone. His bullets smack into its metal hull, but once again fail to destroy it. Torinobu sees Swampy's plight and runs up behind the undead sailor, swinging his sword. And cutting its head from its body. The corpse topples over and stops moving. Swampy sees his chance to escape and flees, passing through a small archway in the medical bay. The mechanical drone continues its attack on Beaumont, its pincing claws reaching out and trying to grab at him, but Beaumont is quick enough to avoid its attacks and escapes with only a few minor cuts. He draws his boarding rifle and attempts to fire on the machine, but the rifle is not fully charged and fails to fire. Torinobu sees his chance to attack the distracted drone and charges towards it, leaping high into the air. Anzai! And bringing his sword down with a vicious slice that cuts it in half. The machine topples over, and Beaumont steps closer to look at it, seeing to his horror that within the confines of the sparking machinery there appears to be a human brain. What in God's name is this abomination?
There appears to be a brain inside this mechanical monstrosity.
I don't know what the bloody hell they were doing here, but it certainly wasn't the Lord's work. Come on, let's get out of here before any more of them show up.
Yes, that is a very good idea, Beaumont-san. Let's go.
Beaumont passes through the archway, joining Swampy, and seeing a door up ahead that leads further into the ship. Torinobu wipes his katana and sheathes it before following them. Then the three of them pass through the door that grinds open on metallic gears. They find themselves emerging into a long companionway, and led by Swampy, the three of them walk down the metal gantry to the doorway up ahead. Beaumont leads the way. Entering into what appears to be a gigantic greenhouse filled with foliage. A pool of sticky, wet slime is smeared across the deck plating. As Beaumont gets close, the acrid smell turns his stomach. Perhaps if he touches it, he may learn more. He reaches out and cautiously tests the slime, gritting his teeth as his fingers pull gooey strands of the slime back with them that burns slightly to the touch. I think we'd do well to avoid this stuff, he says to Torinobu.
Yes, that would seem to be a prudent idea.
Torinobu heads further through the greenhouse, cautious to avoid the pool of sticky slime, followed quickly by Swampy. Beaumont wipes his hand clean and then follows along, heading towards another of the automated doors. He passes through, followed quickly by Torinobu and Swampy. And they find themselves in another cross junction. The three of them waste no time and quickly pass through the cross-junction, heading through the door opposite the one they entered through, and finding themselves entering another of the strange greenhouses. As Torinobu moves deeper into the room, there is a sudden sound of twisting metal, and the grating in the floor rips apart as a trio of the horrible little stranglers emerge from beneath the deck. Beaumont moves forward to get a good firing position and draws his boarding rifle. This time it is fully charged, and he unleashes a flurry of burning hot lasers against the horrible gibbering little creatures. The shots burn through their flesh, and each one screams in pain as it dies. "Come on, Torinobu, let's get that grate sealed before any more of those damned things show up," he says. Torinobu nods and quickly runs over to the grating and begins trying to patch it up. Swampy follows along behind, sniffing at the plant life as he does. Beaumont joins Torinobu, and as he tries to pound the metal back into place, suddenly another of the stranglers bursts up through the opening. "Hurry, Torinobu, get the grate sealed, I'll deal with this bugger." As Torinobu continues to work on the metal grating, the strangler lashes out at Beaumont. One of its writhing tentacles wraps around his neck and begins to choke him. But Swampy leaps up onto the vicious little creature's back and bites into its spine with such tremendous force that it topples backwards and flails around on the floor screaming. Beaumont puts a single bullet into what he thinks passes for the creature's head, and it falls silent and stops moving. Then, together with Torinobu, the two men continue to work on the grating and manage to hammer it down and prevent any more of the horrible little monstrosities from getting through. "I've had just about all I can take of these broken grates," says Beaumont.
"Yes, they are most troublesome,"
says Torinobu. "Come on, let's get moving. We need to find that captain's log." Beaumont passes through the automated door, again followed by Torinobu and Swampy. They emerge into a long passageway. The lights flicker overhead as they walk across the metal gantries that echo and clang eerily through the dead ship. Three of them pass through the next door that leads them into a habitat ring. With a hissing and a whoosh, gouts of boiling steam pour down intermittently from broken hosing in the ceiling. Bloody hell, we're going to have to time our movements just right if we want to get through here without being burned.
"Yes, we must move carefully. Those jets of steam look extremely hot."
Torinobu leads the way, picking his way carefully past the gouts of burning steam as he heads towards the next doorway. Swampy follows along, having no such trouble as he is small enough to get underneath the hosing without the steam reaching him, and the faithful hound reaches the door without any issues. Beaumont carefully follows Torinobu's path, but just as he is about to catch up, a gout of burning steam hisses out from one of the hoses and blasts him in the arm. "Ah, bloody hell, that's going to smart in the morning." Torinobu continues to move carefully, checking on Beaumont.
"Are you okay, Beaumont-san?"
"I'll be fine. Let's just get out of this place," Beaumont says, and moves forward, reaching the door that grinds slowly open. They find themselves entering into a large room with a set of steel steps that lead down into what appears to be some form of navigation room. The chamber is bathed in a blue glow emanating from a massive hollow projected star map filling the room. It flickers as the projected stars and galaxies rotate around the center of the navigation array, conveying the orbits and relative positions of the surrounding star field. Seeing the vastness of the galaxy firsthand, Beaumont and Torinobu begin to realize the insignificance of their place in the cosmos.
"We are nothing but motes of dust in the face of the stars, Beaumont-san."
"Perhaps, Torinobu, but look at it this way. Humanity built this starship to defy that insignificance, to allow us to travel. Whoever and however they did it proves that we are no mere motes of dust, and are living proof that humanity has a bright future among the stars.
I am not sure Captain Albanak would agree, Beaumont-san.
Torinobu heads down the stairs into the navigation pit, and searching the room, finds what they have been looking for, the captain's log.
I have found it, Beaumont-san. The captain's log. It is here.
Swampy runs down the stairs to join him, barking happily. But suddenly there is the crash of grating from overhead, and the ceiling gives way in a cacophonous din as a mass of twisted metal collapses onto the stairs. Beaumont looks up to see a writhing mass of flesh forcing its way through the gap. The gigantic monstrosity slams down in the centre of the room, cutting him off from Torinobu and Swampy. The great elongated beast rears up, 6 massive appendages protruding from its serpent-like back, each one tipped with razor-sharp obsidian claws. He wastes no time and draws his shotgun, firing into the beast's back. The darkstone pellets sink into its flesh, and it howls in rage, turning to reveal its massive gaping maw that could swallow a man whole. It begins to make guttural noises and then disgorges a mass of vile, sticky green acid, similar to what they saw in the greenhouse. Beaumont's quick wits and fortune's favour allows him to dive quickly out of the way of the caustic flow, but he is not so lucky when one of its clawed appendages captures him in the side and leaves a deep bleeding gash. Torinobu charges the distracted creature and unleashes a flurry of vicious slices against the flesh of its back. The giant gastral beast howls in pain once again, but does not fall. Swampy barks angrily at the creature, but knows better than to charge against such a tyrant of a monstrosity. Beaumont finds himself pinned between the creature and the bulkhead of the ship, and in desperation draws his revolver and opens fire, aiming for its gaping mouth. The bullets strike its soft palate, and the creature howls again, disgorging a combination of acid and blood from its wounds. With the gastral tyrant still distracted by Beaumont, Torinobu delivers a lightning slice to the creature's back. And follows up with the weeping blade technique that leaves an enormous gaping wound in the creature's back that flows with sickly blood and ichorous fluids. Emboldened by Torinobu's attack, Swampy charges forward and bites at the flesh of the gastral tyrant. Causing the horrific monster to turn around and disgorge a mass of acidic pulp directly at Torinobu. The caustic slime captures Torinobu's exposed flesh, and he feels it begin to instantly burn, and a sickly feeling washes over him. The creature swipes at him with its 6 clawed appendages, but despite the pain, Torinobu manages to defend its strikes with his sword. From behind the gargantuan beast, Beaumont draws his boarding rifle, and the advanced weapon fully charges. Beaumont aims and squeezes the trigger. The laser bolts punch burning holes straight through the gastral tyrant, and it lets out a blood-curdling scream. For a moment, Beaumont thinks it is about to collapse, but then the creature raises up again. Before it can attack him, he quickly unfurls his fire whip, hoping the burning magic of cinder will finish it off. The whip wraps around one of its appendages, and the creature bursts into flames, howling in rage, but it still does not fall, and instead vomits another torrent of the sticky acid at Beaumont. Once again, he manages to dodge the gout of caustic fluids, but the beast anticipates his maneuver and slams the bulk of its body into him, smashing him straight into the bulkhead. Beaumont's head collides with the hard metal, and he collapses to the ground unconscious. The gastral tyrant lifts him up with 4 of its 6 appendages and holds him in front of its gaping maw. For a moment, Torinobu thinks it is going to devour his friend, but instead it uses its 2 remaining appendages to hold his jaw open, and then it begins to regurgitate some form of egg that it attempts to force into Beaumont's open mouth. Knowing he has only this one chance, Torinobu charges forward and leaps high into the air. Anzai! Bringing the dark stone-infused blade down straight onto the back of the creature's head. Its flesh splits and parts, spilling a massive wash of blood onto the deck plating. Its appendages go limp, and it drops Beaumont back to the ground. The egg falls from its maw and smashes against the hard metal grating. Inside, a disgusting little embryo writhes in a pool of slime before going limp. Then, the gastral tyrant collapses to the ground, finally dead. The only sounds in the room are the humming of the star map and the soft crackling of the dying fires burning the gastral tyrant's flesh. Torinobu helps Beaumont back to his feet.
Beaumont-san, are you okay?
Well, I've seen better days, but I'm still alive, I suppose.
Here is the captain's log. With that beast dead, we should take the time to read it.
Beaumont takes the captain's log and looks through it. Well, I suppose we know what happened here now, at least according to Captain Albernac anyway. It looks like they were studying that damn thing. Those sailors we've been seeing, that's what it does to them. It puts those eggs in them, turns them into some kind of horrible undead hosts or something.
Truly, life in the universe is very strange and horrifying.
Yes, that's putting it mildly. According to this, there are void gates on other planets as well. If we can find our way back to the bridge, then perhaps we can fly this spaceboat to one of those planets, and if we're lucky, perhaps find a way home. We'll just have to figure out how to fly the damn thing.
I believe it is our only course of action, Beaumont.
It says here, this ship is called the USS Vostros, and its mission is to explore the stars in the name of humanity. But look at this, Torinobu.
What is this number?
I think it's a date, Torinobu. It says the ship was commissioned in the year 2247, but God knows how long ago that was. This thing could have been floating through space for hundreds of years.
You mean to say we have not traveled only through space, but through time?
Yes, Torinobu, we're far, far into the future, and regardless of whether Sally Mason recovered from her injuries, she, Kane Winters, Dr. Hedgebrook, everyone, they are all long dead.
But if one of the portals brought us forward through time, perhaps we can find one that can take us back.
Perhaps so, Torinobu. I don't think we have any other choice but to try for it, or else we'll die cold and lonely in the darkness of space. As the two men prepare to head back to the bridge, one of the consoles suddenly sparks to life, and the flickering screen displays a familiar and unwelcome face. When all has fallen to shadow, and the last of their kind burns in the darkness before blinking out, a whimper in the void, or a rebirth of the universe, like a phoenix from the ashes of reality.
Akuma no Jin, his evil extends even across space and time.
Fantastic, and I thought things couldn't get any worse.
Alert, alert. The USS Vostros has suffered critical system failures. Any available personnel, please report to the closest teleportation node and report to the engineering deck immediately.
I just had to open my big mouth, didn't I?